Hello, everybody. Greetings from IGCP Group and MedTalks. I'm Dr. K.K. Agarwal, past President, Indian Medical Association, President, Confederation of Medical Association of Asia and Oceania, and President, Heart Care Foundation of India. We are going to have a scientific feast today on something new. The topic is Trends in Diabetes Reversal, the role of technology, AI, and precision treatment. The word precision means person-centric treatment, individualized treatment. No two patients are same. There is a precision international board which have a meeting, and I did a IMA conference with them when I was the national president of Indian Medical Association. And we started promoting the concept of precision treatment. And for precision treatment, what is the role of technology and AI with reference to diabetes? When we say diabetes reversal, we know what we are talking about is lifestyle diabetes, which is reversible. And that's what the subject for today is. So what are we going to do? We will talk about, is diabetic reversible? If yes, what are the parameters? How digital twin technology powered by AI and IoT enables to reverse diabetes and other chronic diseases. We'll talk about machine learning. We will talk about artificial intelligence. We will also talk about digital twin technology helps to heal the damaged metabolism, thereby healing the root cause of any chronic disease. We will also talk about the patient's health outcomes accomplished so far using the digital twin technology. We will understand how the program works, and from patient's perspective, how doctors can offer twin precision treatment for their patients and keep the patients healthy and stay in program for life. For this interaction, I have three speakers. First of all, Dr. Banshi Sabu. He is the president of RSSDI. He is a chief diabetologist and chairman of Diabetes Care and Hormone Clinic at Ahmedabad, a founder president of Diabetes Care India. He is MBBS, MD, DNB, PhD in phenotyping and genotyping of young diabetics in India. I also have with me Dr. Paramesh Shamanna. He is a leading diabetologist with 30 years of experience in diabetology and internal medicine. He is a medical director, Twin Health. He is the president of Bangalore Diabetic Center. He is also a MBBS, MD, and PGDD in diabetes and internal medicine. I also have with me Dr. Maluk Muhammad. He is a co-founder, Global VP Research and Head, India Operations of Twin Health, past president and chairman, MAM Group of Institutions in India, member of ACM, IEEE, ISA, IARCS, Computer Society of India. He is a PhD from IIT Madras. Sabu, a close friend of ours. I have interacted with him on many occasions, visited his clinic, a very busy, systematic clinic in Ahmedabad. So Dr. Banshi Sabu will talk about, is type 2 diabetes reversible? Type 2 diabetes treatment, two hallmark features. And what is this twin cycle hypothesis? That's what 3 points learning objectives Dr. Banshi Sabu is going to talk about. I present to you Dr. Banshi Sabu.
First of all, thanks, Dr. K.K. Agarwal, for a very nice introduction. Thank you, sir. And it's really great pleasure that I am talking on a Med Talk along with you. So it's my pleasure and privilege. What I'm going to talk about, the three things which you had talked. One is that diabetes, is it reversible? Then I will be talking about the twin cycle hypothesis. And then we will be talking about how this AI can help our patients for reversal of type 2 diabetic patients. first and very important thing, when we were studying, I'm sure, before 25 years or 20 years, what we learned that type 2 diabetes is irreversible and it's progressive beta cell damage. So even whatever best which you do over a period of time, what we see that beta cell get failed and the same medication may not be effective for the patients. And over a period of time, we go on increasing the medication. This is what we learned in last 25 years. But before 10 years almost, when the bariatric surgery had become very popular, the restoration of normal glucose metabolism within days after bariatric surgery in majority of people of type 2 diabetes disproves this concept. So I mean, the same thing which we were learning since last so many years, more than 2 decades, we were knowing that it's a progressive disease, it's irreversible. Suddenly we got the that because of the bariatric surgery in obese type 2 diabetic patient, suddenly they become absolutely normoglycemic. So I mean, this disproves that type 2 diabetic patients is a irreversible condition or it is always with progressive beta cell damage. The reversal means what? So reversal mean refers to change in direction of the underlying process. It means the same disease which was having a progressive beta cell damage, can we do the reversal of the same thing? So that's what the change in the direction. To say that a type 2 diabetes is a reverse is a statement at point in time. It implies no future prediction. That means if some patient is having, like after post bariatric surgery or after very low calorie diet, if we find that patient is almost in remission stage, he is completely reversed with diabetes, but that does not mean okay, he will not have the diabetes. It means it is a statement at that point of time, and that's the reason we call that these patients are post diabetes. They may develop diabetes again if they regain weight. Next slide. Now, this is very important paper because the reversal of diabetes had become a talk of town across the world because of this very important clinical trial and a paper which was published by Roy Taylor from the Scotland. What he talked in direct paper, that it is the diabetes which can be reversed, and he has done a randomized control trial, and he has done this randomized control trial in a primary care diabetes clinic. So it is not been done in a hospital, it is not been done on a tertiary diabetes care center. This trial is being done at the primary care diabetes center or a primary care physician who are treating diabetes in Scotland or in UK. And he had shown the data not only after 1 year but after 2 years also. He had given them a very low calorie diet, all those patients who were randomized, and one arm was given a low calorie diet of around 750 kilocalorie diet, while the other arm was given the standard of care of diabetes management. And what he had seen, that after 1 year, almost one fourth of the patient had lost their weight by more than 15 kg, and more than 46% of the patients, they had reversed their diabetes. It means they are not on any drugs and still they are maintaining their A1C of less than 6.5. While after 2 years, the same data, when it was continued with the 2 years, one third of the diabetic patient still remained under reversal. They were not requiring any medication, and almost 20% of the patients were having weight loss of more than 15 kg. So that is what the data of direct trial, and he had published this data. Not only he had published this data in Lancet, but it had come in the press also. And then we realized that type 2 diabetic patient can reverse their diabetes also. And at the same time, there are multiple such papers which were published across the world from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. We had also one paper from India by Unnikrishnan and group from Pune in IJEM, Indian Journal of Endocrine and Metabolism. Even the number of patients were very less. It was only 12. But for 3 months, he had done that. And it's small proof of concept, a study which he has done in 3 months, the patient had reversed diabetes from 9.2 HbA1c to 6.2 without any drugs. I mean, this is what we have also the data from India. Next slide. Now, we all know that type 2 diabetic patients, the two hallmark feature. Number one is in a type 2 diabetic patient, the first problem is the first phase of insulin secretion which goes away. So as soon as somebody becomes IGT or a person with a type 2 diabetes, newly detected diabetes, the first phase of insulin secretion completely goes away. And this goes because of the higher insulin resistance. So beta cell dysfunction is always preceded by higher insulin resistance. This is what happen in type 2 diabetic patient. So in type 2 diabetic patient, it is the insulin resistance followed by beta cell failure. But in beta cell failure, the first phase of insulin secretion goes away, and this is the first very important hallmark feature. So when we are going to tell somebody's diabetes is reversed, when you are going to say when this first phase of insulin secretion comes back, so it means from pathophysiology, can we get this first phase of insulin secretion? If it comes back, then it means patient is not having diabetes. It means diabetes is completely reversed, or he is having a remission of type 2 diabetes without any medication. So this is very important to understand that first phase of insulin secretion which goes away first, and if it comes back, then we can say somebody is completely diabetes reversed. Next slide. Now, Dr. Roy Taylor, before he published data in 2017 in Lancet Endocrinology, Diabetes Endocrinology, long back he had published his hypothesis in diabetes care in 2013. What he told, it is the twin cycle hypothesis which is responsible for someone to become a type 2 diabetic patient. What, according to him, it is the positive calorie balance. It is increasing the diet or increasing the calorie, which increases the liver fat. Increase in liver fat increases the insulin resistance at the level of liver. So there is a one cycle which goes in liver because of increasing or positive calorie balance. This increase in liver fat is responsible for increase in VLDL, increase in triglyceride, and this increase in VLDL and increase in triglyceride also increase in islet cell triglyceride also. This increase in islet cell triglyceride will reduce insulin response to ingested glucose. And because of this liver cycle, the second cycle which starts going in the pancreas and which is responsible for decreasing insulin response to ingested glucose. And this is reason for increasing the postprandial glucose level. This postprandial increase in the glucose level will further increase the basal insulin secretion from liver. That is the cause for hyperinsulinemia, and it is the cause for insulin resistance. As soon as this basal insulin secretion gets down, or first phase of insulin secretion goes down, the patient becomes type 2 diabetic patient. So the primary driver for type 2 diabetic patient is the excess calorie intake. So if this chronic excess calorie intake, if we remove it suddenly, probably the direction of the cycle will be reversed. And this was his hypothesis, Roy Taylor, in 2013. So according to him, if the primary driver of this chronic excess calorie intake, if we remove it, type 2 diabetes patients can be reversed. This was his 2013. And in 2017, he had published, because after putting this hypothesis, from 2014 to 2016, he has done randomized controlled trial in the patients, and then he had published his data in 2017, and again he had shown a data of not only for 1 year, but he had shown the data of 2 years also. Next slide. So what we understood, that type 2 diabetes is a condition that develop in people who consume more calorie than they require over a long period of time. So this is very clear that it is chronically taking excess calorie as per their requirement over a period of time. Those persons who have in first phase of insulin secretion once goes away, they develop type 2 diabetic patient. It is the more fat in body can lead to excess liver and pancreatic fat, and that is the reason for that subsequent loss of plasma glucose control. The traditional concept of type 2 diabetes is being irreversible. That's not true. After once we have the data of direct trial, that progressive disease has been challenged, and now that we have that no, it is no more an irreversible condition, the type 2 diabetes patients can reverse also. And from where the evidence had come, the evidence either from the bariatric surgery, post bariatric, we had seen the patient can be reversed, or with very low calorie diet, like what we had done in a clinical trial like direct trial, where they had given between 750 to 800 kilocalorie, or significant carbohydrate restriction can also lead to reversal in diabetes. As physician, this is very important that all clinicians, we are go on treating the patients with type 2 diabetic patients with one or other anti-diabetic agents, but we are forgetting that this is very important step, and we must grasp this paradigm shift in our understanding of type 2 diabetes patient. Because if we don't understand that yes, it can be reversed, if we don't talk to our patients about the low calorie diet, probably this benefit will not go to the patient. So we should understand this paradigm shift in understanding of our type 2 diabetic patients for the benefit of our patient, that type 2 diabetic patients or reversal of type 2 diabetes is possible. We can think of using stages. In some patients, you may not get the diabetes completely reversed like what Roy Taylor had done. Some of the patient may not agree at the time of randomization itself for complete stoppage of the medication. So we can do in a reversal in stages form also. That is my in real world, in my clinic, what I do, that first we try to stage at the control, and then we try to do the reversal in forms of decreasing the dose of anti-diabetic, and in the third stage we try to stop the medication if the patient is continue to take low calorie diet and low carbohydrate, restricted carbohydrate diet. And probably some of the patients, if they lose their weight by more than 10% of the weight, possibility of reversal is there. But more than 15 to 20% weight loss with a overweight person, there is a definite more chances of reversal are there. Next slide. With this, there is a twin cycle, twin technology, the whole body digital twin technology, a new invention that helps doctor to reverse diabetes. And this is primarily we are talking of diabetes, but we can talk about the other chronic disease also. Next slide. So as we know, there are multiple chronic non-communicable disease. Is there any possibility to reverse all of them? We may not have the reversal, but definitely for many of these diseases, we can prevent them, whether it is a heart disease, whether it is a stroke, or whether it is a kidney failure. But many of these diseases are because of diabetes itself, or you can say diabetes, dyslipidemia, hypertension, insulin resistance, obesity, and inflammation. They are the major reasons for many of these chronic or end stage disease. So once somebody develops the heart disease, Alzheimer's, kidney failure, liver, or stroke, probably we can't do except, and the further progression of that disease can be prevented. But if we prevent, or if we can reverse some of the non-communicable disease, which is like lipids or dyslipidemia, diabetes, or hypertension, probably we can prevent many of these complications of these non-communicable disease. Next slide. This is very difficult slide. I'm sure the next speaker is going to talk about it. It is the simplified, rather I will say it's a complex view of a metabolism. And there we will be again talking about those twin cycle, that how low calorie diet can help, but it has to be individualized. It has to be precise for that particular person. And that is how this technology, this artificial intelligence is going to help us. Next. So the digital twin, it is actually self-learns individual state of metabolism. It deciphers the cause and effects and predicts outcome. It offers precision treatment to reverse the chronic disease. So the important part of this digital twin technology is that we are not talking to each and every person the same low calorie diet of 750 calorie, which may be really difficult. And then we are trying to coach them. We just want to support the physician, and at the same time, the nutrition which we are going to make for that particular person, it has to be very, very precise. That is what the precision nutrition is, a part of this twin technology, which is the part of this. Because of artificial intelligence, we can use the precise nutrition, sleep, and activity for that particular person. Next slide. With this, I ask the next speaker to take it further, what exactly the digital twin technology, to understand more about it, and then I will be available for question answer. Thank you once again, Dr. K.K. Agarwal, for giving me an opportunity, and thank you, digital twin technology, for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
So I want to talk to Dr. Banshi Sadhu for a couple of minutes before we go to Dr. Parmesh Shamanna for his talk. So Dr. Banshi, there is a concept of medical bariatric surgery.
Yes, sir.
You follow what is going to happen after bariatric surgery, and that is a 60 to 80 ml of diet, 60 to 80 gram or 60 to 80 ml of diet. And that is what you are talking about, restricted diet. So whatever you do after bariatric surgery, you do it without bariatric surgery. And that's what we say is a medical
Medical
bariatric
variant.
surgery. And it is based on the fact that you need whatever weight you need, multiply it by 30. That is the caloric intake. So if you want 80 kg weight, multiplied is by 30, that is 2,400 calories. And if you have 2,400 calories, if you require in a day, and then you divide it by 6, which is the average calories per gram of food, it will be 400 grams of food, which will be 100 grams of food 4 times in a day. And that's what after bariatric surgery you are doing. So I agree with you absolutely that the diet needs to be individualized, and dietetic restriction and carbohydrate restrictions both makes a lot of sense. Now let's go to the diabetic reversal outcomes. We have the medical director of Twin Health, Dr. Parmesh Shamanna, with us. He will talk about the research done, the published outcome of 510 patients, population profile, randomized controlled trials, and temporal variation in journey. So he's going to talk about his results. Let's understand them. Dr. Parmesh.
Thank you, Agarwal sir. It's an honor to speak with you. And thank you also, Dr. Sabu, uh, for setting up the stage for diabetes reversal with your wonderful talk. Uh, I practiced for almost 25 years at the Bangalore Diabetes Center and done more than 150 clinical trials in my practice. I have never seen these kind of results that I am now seeing with Twin. These results are so amazing. I'm sure you'll be surprised when you look at the results. And just to highlight one point, when we did the Twin Precision nutrition treatment, we do not even restrict the calories. We only change the kind of food that they eat, and automatically they get satiety and they start reducing their food. And that's what we look at, because an 800 calorie diet will not be sustainable for a long period of time. And coming to our results again, of this average of 510 patients just in 90 days of time, the continuous glucose monitor which we used, we were able to show the 1-day glucose from 206 dropped to 131. The HbA1c dropped from 8.8 to 6.2. But what makes this even more remarkable is this happened in the background that we were able to stop most of the diabetes medications and insulin and still able to achieve this good amount of HbA1c reduction. And just like what Dr. Bansi explained, we also need to reverse the other chronic metabolic conditions. We have seen good improvements in hypertension. In the next slide that we see here, a good reduction of almost 11 millimeters of systolic blood pressure and 5 millimeters of diastolic pressure. And talking about cholesterol, we all understand the importance of triglyceride bar HDL ratio, which is a marker of insulin resistance, coming down from 5.9 to 4.5. The ApoB, which is again an important cardiovascular risk marker, coming down from 99 to 94. And a good reduction of 6 kgs of weight in 90 days of time. More important than this weight loss, we've seen 10% loss of the visceral fat, which is one of the crucial factors for metabolic disease. And coming to the organ health, we have seen many patients with fatty liver getting better. The EGFR, which is the marker of kidney function, improving from 78 to 88 in 90 days of time. And HOMA to IR, which we were able to calculate for the insulin resistance, dropped from 7.4 to 2.4, which is very significant, which we normally don't see. And the inflammatory marker of HSCRP, which we were measuring, dropped from 6.6 to 1.9. But in spite of all these improvements, I think what is most remarkable was that our patients were happy with our program and our diet. We see the good energy levels, they were in good mood, they had a good net promoter score, I think that's what makes our program unique. Next slide, please. So let us look at the population profile, what kind of patients we enrolled on the program. We have seen the average age of our patients being 48.3, but we had patients as young as 30 and even as old as 75. And looking at the A1C, even though the average was 8.8, we have even treated patients with the HbA1c of 14. And coming to the duration of diabetes, even though the average duration of diabetes was 8.4, we had a number of patients who had diabetes as long as 30 years. Looking at all the success that we were getting, we had a lot of doctors also enrolling in our program. We had more than 27 doctors who got enrolled and got good results on the program. Next slide, please. So our results have to be peer reviewed and published in the medical journals to be accepted as evidence. So we were successful in publishing in the recent European Congress of Endocrinology in this year, September 2020, where we spoke about utilizing the IoT and artificial intelligence to enable our twin precision treatment for reversal of type 2 diabetes. And the next month itself, within the next month, in the Diabetes Therapy Journal, we published our results about how we use the digital twin technology to reduce A1C in type 2 diabetic patients. It was co-authored by Dr. Maluk and Dr. Bansi Sabu. And in this paper, next slide, please. We have shown within this 3 months of time, the A1C reduction was to the tune of 1.9%, a HOMA-IR reduction of 56.9%, weight drop of 6.1%, all that along with elimination of diabetes medication. As we go in the further next slide, we see that 1.9% reduction of HbA1c, which is almost 21.5% reduction happening in just 90 days of time. The next slide. So like I just spoke earlier, all this tremendous A1C reduction happened in the background of elimination of insulin to the tune of 100% and most of the medications of diabetes being stopped. Next. So this is something where we emphasize on the importance of smaller steps. As we can see here, when you have a ladder with smaller steps, persons are able to get confidence and start to climb the ladder. Whereas with a longer steps, nobody would even attempt to do it. Dr. Sabu spoke very clearly about the stages of diabetes, why we need to split diabetes reversal into stages. And here in this coming paper, which we are trying to publish in the British Medical Journal, the next slide, please. We are speaking about the various stages of diabetes reversal, where patients come to us with more than 3 anti-diabetic medication, which we call as a stage 6. When we reduce that to 2, we call it as the stage 5, only being on metformin as stage 4. And once we eliminate all the anti-diabetic medication, we call that as stage 3. And going forward, it is stage 2 and 1 and 0. As you can see on the left-hand side, this was the percentage of patients in the various stages of the reversal. Most of them, when they came, were in the stage 6 with more than 3 anti-diabetic medication. And by 90 days of time, almost 74% of them had advanced to the upper stages of reversal. So this is a slide very clearly showing how stage by stage our patients progress in the reversal. The next slide, please. So it's important not just to do a retrospective analysis. And I'm happy to announce that we have embarked on the randomized control trial, which is the world's first diabetes reversal program using the digital twin technology. And we have 4 centers in India, and we have already enrolled more than 70 patients. And we are looking forward to enroll a similar RCT in the US. Next slide, please. So we were successful in publishing in the European Congress of Endocrinology and Diabetes Therapy. And we have submitted another paper looking at the importance of glycemic variability, BMI, and other vital signs, where we use the digital twin technology for the precision treatment, and it is undergoing review for the British Medical Journal. And Dr. Maluk has already published 2 articles talking about the sensor grid middleware for the healthcare monitoring in the International Journal of Future Computer and Communication, and another article published by him in the International Journal of Telemedicine Applications, where he spoke about the sensor grid middleware for telemedicine using the ABC algorithm. Next slide, please. So we also have the maximum number of patents for the digital twin platform, which is an amazing platform where we are using it to reverse chronic metabolic disease. And again, we have the patent for the digital twin machine learning, the tax system, and a very interesting thing which we have patent for is the virtual CGM and the virtual BP monitoring. And virtual CGM is a capability our artificial intelligence engineers have developed, where with just the watch which measures the heart rate, you can predict the glucose levels very closely. And similarly, we can also predict the blood pressure to a very close accuracy. So these are various patents filed by our company. And I would request Dr. Mallu to speak about the technology which we are using to reverse diabetes. Over to you, Dr. Mallu.
Thank you, Dr. Pamesh, for a very good evidence-based explanation. Now we'll talk about genesis of twin technology, the approach to fix damaged metabolism, the patient journey, and all by Dr. Maulak Mohammed, the co-founder of Twin Health. Over to you. You have to unmute, yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Agarwal, Dr. Bansi Shabu, and Dr. Paramesh for setting the context in the right direction. Let me now talk about the technology behind and how did we come to do it. Where did this all come from? Dr. Jahangir, other co-founder of the company, who in his earlier attempt was revolutionized in the sector of internet IoT. You name any automobile across the globe, starting from India's Maruti to Tesla, it is powered by the IoT of Jasper. Where Elon Musk of Tesla had a vision where he felt that his car should perform better as it ages and the life of the car should become better. So usually, typically what happens is as someone ages, the performance goes down and the cars start to age. But here he had a vision that he wanted to ulta the concepts, where the idea that they brought in was they completely computerized the car, built an automated car, where they put sensor on the car and built a digital twin of the car. And they started to monitor what is happening in the car, by which they were able to improve the performance of the car and make the car live for long, and the driverless car was made possible. So that was the kind of success that Jahangir was able to achieve in his earlier company, Jasper. Jasper, after being acquired by the network giant Cisco for $1.48 billion, he felt, having done something on a thing which doesn't live, which doesn't have life, can we do something on the human mankind? When we wanted to venture into it, we found out that one particular killer disease was diabetes. You name any, as Dr. Bansi Sabu said, all these cardiac, cancer, respiratory, all these, most of the disease mainly attribute because of the diabetes. And diabetes is seen as a lifelong progressive disease, as everyone know that. And all the chemicals, the molecules which are there are to treat the symptom, that is the high sugars, and not the damaged metabolism, which is the root cause of the problem. So we felt that, is there a way that we could come out with it? And we picked up the genesis of what had existed in the automobile sector. And every patient who got enrolled into the treatment, we built a digital twin of them. And in order to ensure that we reverse the chronic condition and make them healthy for life. This is a concept with which we started the assignment. And how did we do? How do we build the digital twin? And what we did was, we used basic FDA approved sensors. Around 3 to 5 sensors were used, all FDA approved sensors, non-invasive, no pain, no harm, nothing. And we collected around 3,000 plus data points every day. In addition, we do 4 comprehensive blood tests per year. Every quarter, we did a blood test. So with a set of blood data and with the sensor data, we built digital twin of every patient. So digital replica of every patient, complete. It knows the complete preference, likes, dislikes, because it's an exact replica of the human. Where you need to visualize here that every 5 minutes, the digital twin kept on getting data from the body through the sensors. So the change that is happening in the body is picturized in the digital twin, where we went and ran a machine learning algorithm, the AI algorithm, which correlated across all these data points and does a computation of 1.4 into 10 to the power of 104 computations every day. Huge. Just imagine 1.4 followed by 1040 computations every day correlating with all these data points, by which we were able to measure the damaged metabolism. First of its kind, the whole body digital twin, a patented solution was built, which was precisely to measure the damaged metabolism. So having measured the damaged metabolism, how do we heal it? Because our agenda here, our actual vision, the goal here is to heal the metabolism. And the byproduct is what is the reversal of the chronic condition. So having measured the damaged metabolism, we all know doctors are completely breathed in with the medical science. So the main root cause is glucotoxicity and lipotoxicity, which is the root cause of the problem. So these two conditions causes three damages. The entire body is inflamed. Secondly, damage the liver. Thirdly, damage the pancreas. And if we want to heal the metabolism, we need to heal these three damages conditions. And the root cause is glucotoxicity and lipotoxicity. By optimally maintaining the glucotoxicity and lipotoxicity from day one of the treatment, we have been seeing that the patients start to normalize their sugar in less than a week's time. And then the platform starts to recommend a reduction of medicine where doctor starts to act on it, looking at the data, where in less than 2 weeks' time, more than 90% of our patients, we were able to stop all insulin. And amazing. Similarly, for more than 70% of our patients, we were able to stop all diabetic medicine in less than 25 days of time. For another 20% of the patients, we were able to stop all tablets in 45 to 60 days of time. 10% of the patients who had damaged their metabolism really bad took a longer time for stopping the medicine. Amazing results we had been seeing. But once the sugars get normalized, in a span of 25 plus days, inflammation goes off. That is where reduction of medicine, all these things start to happen. And once there is continuously, by maintaining optimally the glucotoxicity and lipotoxicity, in a span of 90 to 100 days, the complete glycation, the RBC get removed, and the HbA1c in the third month, the 90th day HbA1c indicates that it is less than 6.5. HbA1c less than 6.5, no medicine by the end of 90th day. They are declared officially non-diabetic. But it doesn't end there, because the end goal that we wanted to achieve is to heal the metabolism. Because Dr. Bansi was talking about sustenance of the outcome, because as he rightly said, reversal is a particular instance. Can we sustain the outcome is what is that we are trying to look at. So for sustaining the outcome, we need to ensure that we heal the metabolism. We do a journey. We just accomplished only 1/3 of the journey, by which we are able to normalize the sugar. So we optimally still continuing the glucotoxicity and lipotoxicity, optimally maintaining it. Once the HbA1c becomes less than 6.5, in a matter of 30 to 40 days, the fatty liver goes off. It gets normalized. And second quarter, platform starts to work on optimizing the other chronic conditions. And patients who are taking BP tablet, cholesterol tablet, they get optimized cholesterol, optimized BP, and optimized BMI, by which substantial amount of reduction in all these medicines also done. So by the end of 6 months, the patient is free from the chronic condition. So having free from the chronic condition, the platform starts to work on optimizing the other organ health. The organ health might have got damaged because of the existence of chronic condition in the earlier phase. So the third quarter, the platform starts to work on optimizing the organ health. And when the patient enters the 9th month, the beta cell regeneration starts to take place. It's a journey once, because all these phases starts to come. The 9th month, the beta cells start to regenerate. And as Roy Taylor has told, it is not that the beta cells have died off, they become dormant. So they start to wake up. And by the end of the 12th month, the complete beta cell regeneration happens and the pancreas is healed. Now the individual is said to be a person with a normalized metabolism with a fresh set of organs. I've been repeatedly telling that we optimize the glucotoxicity and lipotoxicity, but how do we do it? The crux of the solution is the digital twin, which is able to precisely measure the damaged metabolism, offers scientifically proven precision nutrition as a solution. It is more than a dietary. It's not a diet program, because a typical dietary program, they look at only the macronutrients to a greater level. And based on research, we precisely keep repeatedly telling that unmonitored dieting is evil for a damaged metabolic body. Because there are a lot of cases, because they normalize the sugar at the expense of other complications, which many articles have published. So we want to be here cautious. We want to look at the overall accomplishment of the body. So when I talk about precision nutrition, is nothing but the food that we all eat has 87 nutrients in it, 87 parameters in it. Balancing across these 87 parameters, namely the macro, micro, and beta nutrients, makes up the precision nutrition. Based on research, we found out that the macronutrients, namely the carbohydrates, fat, and protein, are only a source of fuel to the body. The actual energizing factor that is responsible for the growth of the immune system, growth of the organs, growth of the cellular system, growth of the bones, are attributed to the 47 micronutrients, which are part of the 87 nutrients which comes up here. Though the micronutrients are micro in nature, they are the energizing factor in the body. They are super important. Excess of it is also bad, and deficiency is also bad. So here, that is where technology comes into play. To make it even understandable, say if a tomato offers 300 milligrams of potassium, and we all eat a piece of tomato, what is the bioavailability of potassium in our body? Depends on the other micronutrients which is present in the body, which is nothing but the metabolism of the body. So it might be 150 milligram, 10 milligram, or 270 milligram. That is where the digital twin technology offers a solution. The digital twin technology, which measures the metabolism, offers a mapped solution on the balancing the nutrients. So to make it even understandable, when the patient enrolls into the platform understanding the body's condition, identifies a list of food items which are intolerant to the body and classifies those food items as red food. As rightly pointed out by Dr. Agarwal, Dr. Bansi, and Dr. Paramesh, every individual is unique. What is good for me may not be good for someone else. It is bad. So it is completely personalized. So the red food, the food that are intolerant to my body, is totally different from someone else. So the advent of technology has made it possible that, and it identifies the foods which are intolerant and classifies those food as red food, and the platform doesn't include those food in the meal plan, by which the patient starts to normalize the sugar in less than a week's time, and he travels the journey. But the crux of the solution, the interesting solution that here is, as he travels through the journey, after 60 days, after 70 days, one after the red food start to become green, because he is healing your metabolism and he start to metabolize. And that is the reason why we don't call this as the dietary program. It is a healing program. After 7+ months, patient is able to be in a place where he is able to eat most of the food which was red on day 1. So that is where healing of metabolism proves that sustenance is possible. As of now, we have seen more than 18 months of sustenance, but still a long way to go. And we have been seeing amazing outcome. Similarly, we all know gut is the second heart of the body. By precisely balancing the macro, micro, and beta nutrients, we also ensure that the gut flora is taken into consideration, by which we are able to measure the metabolism and heal the damaged metabolism, by which we are able to achieve safely the reversal of all the chronic condition. And in addition, here the power of technology has made it possible that every instance of time the patient can look at his body in his mobile device, because the mobile is an interface to the digital twin. It lets him know where does the body stand. It's not that he's a dark. At every instance of time, he could look at his body. There's a component called Twin Health Score, which is made up of 117 parameters, which lets him know at every instance how healthy he is. Hence, the platform, in addition to healing the metabolism and reversing the chronic condition and optimizing the organ health, also has a capability to monitor for 124 diseases. The power of technology has made it possible. Similarly, with the technology, we had created as a contactless treatment. It's a treatment offered by the doctor, but the patient can be treated at the place of his convenience. So the precision treatment holistically involves precision nutrition, precision activity, precision sleep, and precision medicine. So because the tapering of the medicine has to be done depending on the progress of the individual. So we also ensure that it is just not the health which is important. It is the health and the happiness of the patient which is very important. So for every patient, there exists 2 digital twin. One is the health digital twin, and the other is the happiness digital twin. So at every instance of time, we keep measuring that the happiness and the health coexist. That is the reason why the patient is able to prolong with what we offer as a solution and ensure that he achieve the results. And the crux of another interesting thing that the company has brought in is the high definition nutrition database. So we are the first where we are able to capture all the 87 parameters of more than 10,000 food, which we had built first of its kind in the world. And this is what I talked as a journey of what the patient undergoes. In the first 3 months, he normalizes sugar, stop all diabetic medicine, heal inflammation, remove the glycation in RBC, and stop symptoms. The second quarter, optimize the chronic diseases, heal the fatty liver, optimize BP, cholesterol, and BMI, reduce or stop chronic conditions medicine. Third quarter, the beta cell starts to regenerate, and fourth quarter, beta cell regeneration completed, damaged metabolism healed, and it continues thereafter. And here it is a complete. It also monitors, as I told you, it is an end-to-end solution offered by the company, and we have a set of amazing doctors who are part of the advisory team, including Dr. Francine Kaufman, who was the former president of American Diabetic Association, Dr. Osama Hamdi, who is a consultant for us, and Dr. Banzi is our advisor. A lot of amazing, great doctors are part of our advisory team, doing amazing job. Let me pause here, and I would like to take questions. We three of us can take questions.
Thank you, Dr. Maulak Mohammed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Parmesh, and thank you, Dr. Sabu. Let's now make it more simpler as much as possible. So, Dr. Maulak, suppose I am diabetic.
Yeah.
Now I want to enroll.
Yes.
How
sir.
do I do it? I want to go to the steps. So first of all, the patient says he is diabetic. He wants to enroll. So what is the first step?
Doctor, we enroll the patient for a doctor, and then once the enrollment is done, the next day blood draw is done at the home, and the next day the junior physician connects with the patient, collecting the investigation details. The next day the blood report is published on the platform. The next day the actual diabetologist or endocrinologist who is going to treat the patient connect with the patient through virtual consultation, reviews the complete report, and publishes the medicine as recommended by the platform. And from there on, doctor starts to monitor the patient's data 24/7 with the support of the digital twin technology. And the next day, the service activation is done by the health coach. For every patient, there is a health coach who's attached. And she service activates, and she walks through the journey of healing the entire year. She is not here to offer the meal plan because the meal plan cannot be offered manually. It is done by the platform depending on its metabolic condition. So this is the way it works.
So when a patient gets enrolled,
yeah,
he fills up a performer. Yeah. Then his blood tests are done. Blood tests are analyzed.
Yeah.
Based on that and evaluation, a diet plan comes out of the computer.
Yeah, the platform recommends.
Is it okay? So what is that diet plan? What is the sample? Is the medicines? The diet will be his own food at home, or there will be a special diet?
No, doctor. Is it complete? 70% of the food are the same as what he is eating. It is a 30% of the food which is intolerant to his body, and those 30% of the red food which is not given, but a replacement for that is suggested by the platform. Say, for example, instead of a rice, it can ask the patient to take millet rice. For some people, rice may be compatible and wheat may not be compatible. So we cannot tell here this is the food which he has to eat, because it is completely personalized for an individual. We don't want to just give a sweeping statement that this is good for you. It is personalized completely for an individual. It is not that it is low carb, high fat, all those are not there. Where it is a balance across, there's a score called macro, micro, and biota score, which is balanced across, by which the patient is also given an opportunity where he can mix and match in the app. The mobile app offers a solution to the patient where he mix and match depending on the availability of what is there in his home and appropriately eat the food of his choice.
So there is no food which he has to buy from the digital twin.
Not necessarily. We are not here to supply food, doctor. We are not here to supply food. We are not here to give supplements. It is recommendation is what is offered by the platform.
Okay, so the platform will recommend you something like an allergen testing. Something like, well, you do an allergen testing and you say you are allergic and you get a report, avoid them. And this is what. So basically, it is based on a twin technology of AI and IoT. Yeah. It will follow you. It will see your symptoms. It will do all the blood testing. And then it will basically, based on the AI and based on the experiences of matching it with other people, it will give you a dietetic pattern. And it will also advise you which type of a medicines will suit you.
Exactly.
And the platform is not offering any diet or any medicines. It is only offering you basically a computer assistance. So you have that means every doctor has a robotic doctor with him to guide.
Yeah.
This is what, if I understand it correctly, so a doctor needs a robotic assistance.
Yeah.
So a robotic assistance is available with his doctor, and a patient can register through a GP or through a diabetologist through a internal medicine, and that doctor can take help of the robotic doctor and prescribe his and get it enrolled to his patient.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
what are the normal charges for enrollment and how long he has to enroll?
Okay, it's a 1-year treatment because the entire until the metabolism healing is done, otherwise sustenance becomes a challenge. So 1-year treatment, and the actual cost is annual package is around 72,000, where the patient is permitted to pay monthly. It includes the sensor, the blood test, the doctor consultation, the health code support, the technology, the tablets. It is end to end. Patient need not spend anything else outside the purview. Everything is offered by the company at the place of his convenience. He did not come to the clinic. With the technology, we had made it possible that it is at his remote place. Even we have patients from abroad, from remote places are also there.
So this is, so I need to simplify it, is 6,000 rupees a month, where he will be given some sensors to wear.
Yeah.
That sensor will monitor his online health.
Yeah.
And his blood tests are done on the initial time.
Yeah.
So he carries on with his sensors and the data is going and being monitored by the computer.
Yeah.
And then he has to buy his food and medicines from the way he has to buy from any regular chemist.
Doctor, medicines we are offering, doctor. Company offers them, even the tablets the company provides.
So which tablets are there? They are the standard medicines.
Standard, regular, what are available in the market, doctor. Regular allopathy medicines, English medicine, metformin, Januvia, all these tablets. Doctor.
So he will reduce his cost of medicines, which is approximately 3,000 per month.
Yeah.
So that becomes zero.
Yeah.
All his blood tests become zero.
Yeah.
So basically, he ends up in paying 2,000 to 2,500 per month extra for the first year. And in the second year, his medicine cost has gone down. So he recovers his cost after the second year.
Exactly.
Am I correct?
Exactly. The power of here is, doctor, all these sensors are already existing in the market. The correlation across all these data points and to get a useful inference of it is what is making it the crux of the solution. So for each meal plan, the platform also shows what is the metabolic impact of that particular meal that he has taken. So complete end-to-end solution in what phase he is in healing. The platform completely offers end-to-end solution to make him understand, because it's just not the sugars alone which is going to be a file to us. It is complete correlation. As Dr. Paramesh was talking about, the platform also has the capability where after the 35 days, the CGM patch is gone. The blood sugars are calculated based on the heart rate and the activities and the other parameters. Similarly, BP are calculated. Similarly, we had come out with the technology to see how the kidney functions, how the cholesterol moves across. It's just not the instant of it. Throughout, how does the body behaves. So we are able to study at a higher level by correlating across all these data points.
So I have only a couple of minutes back. I'll do some rapid fire questions. How do you measure happiness? Is there a happiness score? Number two is what cost and fact has already been told. Second thing, they're talking about type 1 diabetes. Is it going to be effective in type 1 diabetes? Third, they're talking about can it be used for weight reduction other than diabetes? How much cost? Most of the patients are asking for a cost, which we have already discussed. And this is normal weight obesity. These are the 4 questions which are repeatedly questions. Otherwise, we have got most of the answers got. One is happiness index. Quickly, anybody? Happiness index.
Doctor, there are around 17 parameters which we measure. One is we ask the patient to rate, and there are the platform also has the capability to predict the food of his choice depending on the combination of the things. It can offer the repetition, it can offer the combo, can offer the meal plan. That is the kind of nuances the platform captures based on the rating by the patient, by which we are able to, and the prediction accuracy is 0.47 when compared to what Netflix today is at 0.51. We had been achieving such an amazing prediction outcome. So that is one, doctor.
You will replace the sensors in a year if they go defective.
Doctor, no, after a year, say after some point of time, the patient has to wear only 2 sensors. One is a sensor watch and the other is a body composition monitor. The rest of the sensor goes off. So by the time the platform, the digital twin might have completely learned the body.
Obesity management.
So we actually enroll now and offer only diabetes as a solution. And part of the diabetes, we had been seeing amazing, amazing results. Only one thing we had not taken credit is reversal of thyroid. Though we see substantial improvement in thyroid, including reduction of medicine, everything else we are able to heal arthritis, polycystic ovary, amazing, amazing outcomes we had been seeing. And
type 1 diabetes.
we cannot, doctor. We cannot do. We can reverse type 2 and gestational diabetes.
So what I can understand is that basically this program is for insulin resistance. Whenever you have high insulin resistance, this program should work because that's what it is reversible. And remember, it's a COVID time. COVID-19 also causes very severe insulin resistance. Therefore, all those diabetic patients who are in COVID time, they need to control their diabetes at any cost. B, they cannot afford to have insulin resistance because if they have insulin resistance and COVID comes, it converts that insulin resistance into a severe insulin resistance, and that can cause a catastrophe. So as far as this program is concerned, yes, it makes sense. We have people like Banshi Sabu, Dr. Parmesh, who has shared their experience. So as I understand as a moderator, A, if you are a diabetic, B, it has to be a type 2 diabetes. C, probably you will also have abdominal obesity because that's a marker of insulin resistance. Then you will undergo all the blood tests to find out your food habits, your sensors, everything. And based on Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, the computer will be able to guide you the red and green flags, the green food and the red diet. So red diet at this moment is precipitating further insulin resistance. So you need to omit your red diet. Slowly, 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 your metabolism comes back. Your insulin resistance disappears. Once your insulin resistance disappears, you are back to a normal metabolism. And when you are back to a normal metabolism, you can start living a normal life, a healthy life. Obviously, at that particular moment, you will have to continue a good lifestyle forever. Because if you start doing your bad lifestyle again, then again, after a couple of years, 10 years or 15 years, we will have to come back for a twin health for a twin program. That means one more program for a year. And that's what called yo-yo diet or a yo-yo program that you say, I will do this program 1 year, 3 years, again, I'll come back. That may not be good for you. So let me thank all three of our speakers, Dr. Maulak Mohammed, Dr. Parmesh, and Dr. Banshi Sabu for a beautiful illustration of a new technology which can be very, very, very useful for patients with type 2 diabetes with insulin resistance. Therefore, look for abdominal obesity if it is more than 80 centimeter in women, more than 90 centimeter in men. Look for triglyceride HDL ratio. Look for fasting insulin. And if you feel your doctor is saying that you have a insulin resistance, you have look for a Banshi Sabu in every area. You may find some Banshi Sabu or Parmesh in your area and ask them to treat you using AI. Thank you very much. And let me say all the best to all of you and your venture. And all my viewers and colleagues who are watching, keep watching such programs. Remember, Diwali is coming and मीठा बोलो कड़वा खाओ और मीठा बोलो कड़वा खाओ डायबिटीज भी कम होगी और जब मीठा बोलोगे तो ऐसा बोलो जो एजुकेशन से भरा हुआ हो द बेस्ट एजुकेशन गिफ्ट टुडे इज टू स्प्रेड नॉलेज इंटेलिजेंस to other people in the country. That's all for today. We'll be back with one more program. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.